code RADIO and get 2 months of payroll processing free. That's PatriotSoftware.com.
PatriotSoftware.com. Accounting and payroll. Keep your time and money.
Convenience stores are there for a reason, to be convenient. And when you're in a hurry to get to the party, drop into your local Dailies and pick up a cold case of Bud Light. Priced right and always cold. Bud Light in the cooler at your local Dailies convenience store. Remember, always drink responsibly.
Kick off the college football season with SEC Media Days. Presented by Carefree Boat Club. Hear from the players and coaches live from Birmingham.
Brought to you by Dandy Foods,
J-Dog Junk Removal, and Regency Electric Company on 1010XL. This is XL Primetime on 1010XL, built by Preferred Builders.
Home Run Derby contest last night. It was thrilling. It really was. We talked to Steve Greenberg from the Chicago Sun-Times earlier on the show on XL Primetime, and he was there. He said, but when you're trying to follow the story, you keep looking down. He said, but the place was going crazy. I still feel bad for Jock Peterson, kind of the forgotten guy. He hit one less home run than Vlad Guerrero in that second round, yet nobody is mentioning him. You just heard where they said, valiant effort for Jock Peterson.
28 bombs.
Yeah, but Vlad was just the superstar and ultimately lost out in the next round to Pete Alonso, a former Gator and a current Met who gets $1 million. That's why the competition was so much better last night, because they put $1 million on the line.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot on the line. Like JJ said earlier, Pete Alonso, his rookie deal pays him $500,000. He made $1 million last night. He just doubled his salary in an hour and a half stretch. I'm going to ask a rhetorical question because I'm pretty sure I know what your answer is going to be. Do you miss the All-Star game deciding home field in the World Series?
Heck no.
Heck
no.
And I knew you probably would say that because you're a diehard baseball fan. For me,
I just think it's asinine.
It added a little something to it.
Here's the problem. How can a team of players from all these different teams.
Agreed. I hear what you're saying.
In an exhibition, when they don't, keep a pitcher on the mound too long, they try and make sure everybody gets to play, let that game determine who gets to host 4 games in a best-of-7 in the World Series. It never made any sense to me. I thought Bud Selig laid an absolute egg when he made a decision to do that. I thought it was a hasty decision.
I know most people hate it, and I totally understand. I'm in the vast minority, and I'm not going to say that I was over the top in love with it.
Yeah.
But if I knew that home field in the World Series was on the line tonight, it would spice it up a little bit for me.
I'm not going to debate you on how you feel because I don't think it's that much different for that many people. I just thought it was a stupid rule. I thought it was a really dumb idea to say we're going to play a game that we're not going to manage the same way we would manage any other game. We're not going to, because we're going to try and play as many guys as we possibly can. Everyone's here to see a show, and yet somehow one of the most important things as we see it, how many – like sports fans as a whole probably see home field advantage in any sport as pretty important, right? And we're going to take an exhibition game and we're going to let that determine the 2 best teams who gets to have home field.
Well, in baseball,
and who doesn't.
It might be more important in baseball than any other sport.
Yeah,
just because of the DH and everything that goes with that.
The DH in particular and the makeup of the ballpark. None of them are the same.
Right.
It's one thing you have a 100-yard football field. You got a 94-foot basketball court, but you're talking about a baseball stadium that's uniquely shaped for every different team. So I just thought it was stupid. Now, are you ready for this? Are you ready?
I feel good.
Hang on, JJ, hang on. If we go to extra innings tonight, if it is a 2-2 ball game, and JJ, chime in on this. If it is a 2-2 ball game,
they put a guy at second base.
They will put a runner at second base.
What?
They're doing that in the minors now.
They're doing it in the minor leagues.
Wait a minute, what inning?
The 10th,
extra innings.
right? Just any extra.
If it's a tie ball game, we go to extra innings. They will put a runner at second base to speed things up.
Come on.
Just call it a tie.
How does that speed things up in the top half of the inning?
Just because
it gives them the lead and then they got to score in the bottom of that.
That's just the team has a better chance to score.
Wait, so does the home team get?
Both teams.
Yeah, you're just increasing the possibility of scoring. That's all.
Yeah, you know what though. But if I were to tell you,
I'll take that over because it's an exhibition.
Right, but in college football, 25 years ago, if I were to say, if a game's tied, we're going to put the ball at the 25-yard line. and let you just move it from your opponent's 25, you would look at me like, the heck's the point of that?
Well,
Why can't they drive down the field?
But I
I actually think it was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
or whatever, 30 years ago then.
Yeah, and it's been around a while, but I'm thinking as a high school football player, when we came up, we knew what overtime was, and it was near the goal line. And
Like
so
10 yards.
So we didn't have a problem with it. We were actually used to that. So when we said, okay, let's line up the 25-yard line, it made all sorts of sense to me.
That was a Kansas tiebreaker.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have any problem with it. But this it just seems a little hokey. But at the same time, it's an exhibition game. Get it over with. I'm even thinking about that last night with the home run derby when Vlad and Jock Peterson stay tied. At some point, it might have a negative effect on their swing, where you're going, dude, let's get this thing over with. Hey, you want the million? Or let's split it, that type of deal, because it truly is an exhibition, and they were swinging out of their shoes
Have
last
a problem
night.
with Yelich not doing the derby but playing in the game?
I thought that was very by design, very much by design.
Well, because he basically, he came out, well, he didn't say it verbatim, but he basically said it without saying it, that he wants to be on top of his game for the Brewers in the second half.
Totally
and
okay.
He's concerned that his swing would have gotten jacked up by the derby.
And that's why I think keeping the rooks in there, the young guys in there, because Yelich has proved that he's a superstar. He's an MVP. And so even though Jock Peterson came back and a couple, just getting the newness, getting the new guys in there, I was perfectly okay with that. All right, now, JJ.
A feel good.
I feel good.
Always feels good to feel good. Thanks to Hekin Clinic, especially if you are dealing with any joint injury, joint pain, whatever it might be. Get with Dr. David Hekin and the Hekin Clinic specialists and find that relief and feel good again. This made me feel good. Louisville in Kentucky, we're talking about the Battle of the Bourbon Barrel, all right? They battle hard in the state of Kentucky, all right? It's red versus blue. It's got everything in it in terms of rivalry. Well, Jared Lorenzen, who we all loved, hefty lefty, Battleship Lorenzen, passing away last week at the age of 38. Now the Louisville players are helping the Kentucky players. Ex-Cardinals offensive lineman Jerome Brown, his foundation donating $5,000 towards the expenses. Former quarterback Chris Redmond, it's a name you're probably familiar with, and Deion Branch will be giving an unspecified amount of money as they donate money to Jared Lorenzen's family to help deal with the cost and help in any way possible. That made me feel good.
Oh, it's, yeah. I mean, look, at certain points you put the rivalry aside for a cause like that, and yeah, that does make you feel good. I remember, wasn't it Auburn and Alabama? I mean, you're talking about the Iron Bowl. You're talking about just genuine distaste. Mm-hmm. And when the tornadoes hit Tuscaloosa, I guess almost like a decade ago now, right? Carson Tinker
was there.
Auburn
former Jag.
came over and helped and did everything. I mean, it's one thing to be rivals one day out of the year, but when a situation like that arises, you help out your fellow man. So, yeah, anytime rivals can do that, it's a good thing.
Yeah, you get away from the anger that fuels the rivalry. You can get back to that the next day, but I'm glad to hear that they were doing that. All right, a couple things that we need to get into before we are done, which we will do coming up here in just a second.
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC.
I was happy to see this. Now, this happened right as we were coming on the air this afternoon. There is just a disgusting trend going around of people making videos and putting them online of, like, licking ice cream and putting it back in the freezer. Or
Savages.
Have you seen these?
There's a new one with iced tea.
Right, they caught the guy. The guy that hawked one in a tea in a grocery store and then put the lid back on. They just caught him in the last 3 hours.
I
hope that guy goes to jail, prison for a long time.
I would take every toenail out of him right now.
Well, and the reason I bring it
now.
up, he's an independent wrestler, apparently. We just talked to
Is he
Jim
at
Ross.
AEW this week?
No, he's not. He's an indie wrestler, I think in Kentucky, maybe?
He seems like he's from
Kentucky.
That is unacceptable.
The idiot had his friend take a video of him hawking a loogie, basically, in this tea bottle, and he thought it was so funny. That thing got retweeted like 300,000 times.
The stupidity of wanting to be known for doing something.
And they caught him because of the video.
Yes, the stupidity.
Oh.
Yeah, don't ever underestimate dumb. Don't ever discount dumb. That's like Joe C's rule number 41. Don't discount dumb. And that ended up costing him. It's XL Primetime.
The First Coast Honda Dealer Studios on 1010XL. The class of 2020 is making history. Congratulations to Mandarins Carson Beck, Trinity Christian's Miles Brooks, and Jaquez Robinson, committed to Georgia, Georgia Tech, and Alabama. Follow them this fall under the Friday Night Lights on 1010XL.
Hacker here for First Coast Auto Sales and FirstCoastAuto.com. Guys, bad credit does not mean you have to settle when buying your next vehicle. Go see the auto and credit expert in Jacksonville. That's my friends at First Coast Auto Sales. For decades, that company has been putting people with credit issues right here in Jacksonville in quality automobiles. They're on Cassett near I-10. They're also on Edgewood at the corner of Beaver and Edgewood. And their website, First Coast Auto. That's the number one, stcoastauto.com. It's First Coast